Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled you're tuning in today. We're going to be looking at an absolute geopolitical shockwave that's actively reshaping the entire global energy landscape as we know it. We're talking about the UAE breaking OPEC and the massive domino effect that comes right along with it. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. Chapter 1. The UAE leaves OPEC. 60 years. Think about that for a second. For 6 whole decades, the UAE has basically been a cornerstone of this organization. I mean, they've weathered some massive historical events together, right? The oil embargoes of the 1970s, the crazy price crashes of the 80s, the 2008 financial crisis, and, global pandemics. That's 60 years of shared strategies, navigating totally complex geopolitical waters, and presenting this fiercely unified front to the rest of the world. And now, after all that history, they literally just announced they are completely walking away. No way, right?
Now, to really wrap our heads around this fracture, we kind of have to look at the current strategic reality of OPEC. Most of us know that OPEC's main gig is controlling global oil supply to maintain profitable price levels. But right now, the organization is enforcing incredibly strict oil production caps on every single member. Every state basically agrees to limit how much they pump just to prop up the price of a barrel. But here's the big question. What actually happens when those super tight restrictive rules start to actively suffocate one specific member's really aggressive growth trajectory?
Well, that brings us right to part 2, the billion-dollar production clash.
So what's really fascinating here is just the staggering scale of the financial investment involved. We are talking about $150 billion. To put that massive number into perspective, that's roughly the entire GDP of a country like Morocco. And the UAE poured all of it solely into expanding their oil extraction capacity. They went all in, building state-of-the-art infrastructure, pouring in immense capital, and basically gearing up to unleash all this vast new energy onto the market. And then, after fronting that monumental investment, OPEC just straight up told them to pump less. Yeah, you can definitely start to see exactly where the breaking point happened. And honestly, the core of this clash is absolutely staggering. On one side, you have the UAE's target. They built the capacity and they have the ambition to pump 5 million barrels of oil every single day. But on the flip side is that rigid OPEC cap, restricting them to just 3.4 million barrels. I mean, that is a chasm of 1.6 million barrels. That translates to literally millions of dollars in potential revenue just left sitting uselessly in the ground every single day, all because of cartel rules. The UAE basically decided that swallowing this massive daily loss was just entirely unacceptable. So, they're out.
Let's move along and see how this builds into our third and final chapter, the global economic fallout. This disruption has some really severe, immediate consequences for major global players. Based on the financial projections we're seeing, economies facing potential freefall actually include Russia, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. And the underlying logic here is pretty clear. These specific nations rely heavily on the artificially inflated oil prices that OPEC's strict production caps guarantee, just to balance their own national budgets. Their fiscal break-even points depend heavily on that artificial scarcity. So without the UAE playing along and limiting its massive output, the cartel's grip loosens, that artificial scarcity evaporates, and those heavily oil-dependent economies face dramatic financial instability as their revenue streams just absolutely plunge.
So what does this all mean for you and me? Let's connect the dots from all that macroeconomic instability directly to your daily life. For the everyday consumer, this massive production clash basically translates to one major real-world outcome: cheaper oil for everyone. Without those strict caps holding back the UAE's 5 million barrels a day, a huge wave of supply is going to flood the global market. And, well, as we know from basic economics, when supply surges on that kind of scale, prices are driven down. We're talking at the gas pump, in aviation, and literally across the entire global supply chain. It's a real game changer.
Which leaves us with one final absolutely monumental question hovering over the global energy landscape. Is this the death of OPEC? Does this single departure signal the ultimate demise of an organization that has dictated global energy policy for half a century? Think about it. If the UAE can just walk away and pump exactly what they want to maximize their massive investments, who's to say others won't follow suit to protect their own economic interests? A post-OPEC world could mean a completely unregulated, free-for-all energy market that fundamentally rewrites the rules of global geopolitics. I'm going to leave you to think about that one. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today, and hey, keep your eyes on those markets.